Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Best Day Ever podcast. I'm your host, Olivia Vendetti-Spahr, and in case you haven't heard, yes, in fact, today is the best day ever. You know why? Because yesterday, where's she at? Yesterday is gone, and tomorrow, are we guaranteed tomorrow? We're not. So what are we left with? We are literally left with today, which makes today the best day ever. It's the only day we've got. So to be completely honest, I was going to wait to release this podcast, the very first Best Day Ever podcast episode. I was going to release this next week, but just from all the excitement and support and encouragement I have received from everyone, I could not stop myself from my excitement. And I was like, why not just do this right now? I mean, today is the only day we've got, right? So I'm going to surprise y'all with this video. Hopefully I get it out tonight. It's literally 11:30 at night that I am recording this. I want to try and at least give you guys some quality episode today. I am still waiting for my microphone to come in through the mail. So once I get that all set up, you guys will hopefully be having some crispy, clear content from me. But right now, this is what we got, so let's work with it. Today, I'm going to be diving deeper into the reason why I started the Best Day Ever podcast and how it originated and really what inspired me to go ahead and finally do this. So if you're new here, hello. My name, like I said, is Olivia Vendetti-Spahr. And if we were in person, this is typically the time when I'd ask you, all right, so what's your name? I know we're not in person, but I'm still going to ask you that anyway, because wherever you are, it would be such an honor to get to meet you someday. So I'm definitely going to be praying that one day, we get to pass and you get to be like, hey, I listened to your podcast and I was talking to myself when you asked me what my name was. And I get to be like, yeah, now we get to meet in person. And then that would be our little story of how we met. Anyway, yes, we are not in person, but I'd love to know you. I'd love to know your story. So along with finding out your name, I'd love to find out more about who you are and your story. So what do you like to do for fun? What are you passionate about? What gets your heart racing of excitement? What makes you nervous? What makes you sad? What's been hard for you over the last year? What are you looking forward to in the future? Who do you want to become? What are your biggest dreams and hopes? Who's your biggest inspiration? These are all things I just would love to learn more about you. Well, if it isn't obvious, I love people and I love stories and I love the fact that we are all living our own reality. Wherever you're at right now listening to this, take a look around the room. You see every single person walking around. They are all living their own realities. Everybody has a story. Everybody has experiences and moments that have made them who they are. And like I said in the intro, it is literally a miracle that any of us are even here. And the fact that we get to be here in this moment together is literally such a gift. And when you look into this room and the space of people, everybody that you know, you literally have a story of how you met. And like I said, all it takes for someone to go from a stranger to a friend is ask them what their name is. So I challenge you today. I challenge you to make a new friend. Go up to a new person. Go up to someone that you've always known for years and just sit down and talk to them. You could make the biggest difference in their day. Don't we all just want to be loved and seen and heard? I think that's all that anybody wants, is just to be recognized and to be seen for who they truly are. And I think especially after the last, year and a half that we've had, living life through the pandemic and quarantining, most of us have kind of had our little bubble of people. And I personally have experienced that. So this is kind of funny because it leads right into how the Best Day Ever podcast was created. And it all started over this summer. I've really felt like over quarantine, God put me through the refiner. And if you don't know what a refiner is, it is basically, I believe, this machine that like extracts chemicals and toxins. So if I'm completely wrong, I apologize. But how I'm going to use this metaphor today is I felt like God put me through the refiner and just exposed me of all the things in my past that I never let myself ever realize I was holding on to, that I never actually let myself feel emotions about and feel sad about and feel angry about. Things of, my past and my childhood and, my high school experiences, all these things that really did, like the good and the bad, that have made me who I am and have affected me in ways I didn't even realize, have finally came to light. But the crazy thing and the beautiful thing about going through a refiner is you're not just left with all this ugliness and all this pain and all this sorrow. What happens in a refiner is it is extracted from you. It sounds like a good thing, right? Like we're being released of all these bad things, but honestly, it does come with a lot of pain. And for me, there were definitely a lot of hard days, many hard days over the last year and a half, where I would just constantly, when I was alone, just finally by myself, finally with my own thoughts in my own world, and I couldn't be distracted by anything else. There were so many things that I finally had to face and recognize, and the growth that I have overcome in that time, the way that I literally have been set free of so many things in my past, is only because I had to experience this pain. But think about a flower. How does a flower grow? A flower needs, first it needs some roots. So we need to establish some good roots. And 2 years ago, my real roots that are solid, on solid ground, happened when I found Jesus. And I would love to carry out a deeper conversation on my relationship and how I really came to know Christ just 2 years ago and how he completely opened and transformed my life. So yes, it starts with some roots. You got to establish some firm foundations. But a plant needs, sun, water. Is it just sun and water? A plant needs, I guess that's all it needs. A plant needs sun and water. So picture this refining process. As I'm kind of extracting all of this pain, I would be crying and so many tears would be shed. Just like that flower. A flower needs water. It needs these cloudy days of sadness and kind of mugginess, if that's a word. It needs to go through these hard days because you know what? The next morning it wakes up a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, and those roots established a little bit more. What I also recognized is feeling sad and feeling emotions and feeling angry, that's not a sign of weakness. It's literally a sign that you are growing, because if you're experiencing these emotions, that means you're releasing it. And it's kind of like it's passing through you to be let go of. Personally, my whole life, I kind of had this position where I had to be the strong one. I had to be, the independent one of my family. I felt like a lot of people relied on me, and I never, ever let anything get to me. And I thought I was being strong. I thought I was just insanely good at carrying strength and getting over situations without talking about it. And that was the farthest thing from the truth. And it wasn't until this last year that so many wounds I thought I didn't have were released. And what I recognized is I was actually just ignoring this pain. It can be big or small, but it's just the fact that I wasn't able to grow because I'm still holding on to these things. And I would just encourage you right now to just think by yourself with your own thoughts. What are things that you're still holding on to? And just write some of those things down for you. And I'd love to just pray that the Lord would find in time a way for you to truly be set free of these things over your life, so you can walk in freedom, in complete true freedom, and no longer have any worry or guilt or shame or regret reigning over your life anymore, but you would be set free of all of these things. You could walk around waking up tomorrow morning with your head high, and things definitely take time. So back to the refining process. To know that you're letting go of something is to first feel it and just allow yourself to be sad, be upset, and then release it, because we don't need to walk in any of these things anymore. Like, you truly are set free. I believe in a God who has saved us and he's come to redeem us. And God tells us, it's written in the Bible, verse John 3:10, for God so loved the world that he sent his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but live forever in eternal life. Now that is peace. And that is where you can find freedom, in him, in Jesus, the one who will literally bear the weight of everything. You no longer have to carry the strength on your own, but you can actually just let it all into his hands. You literally, like, everything in your life you're trying to hold together somehow, because we think that we hold the world in our hands, but we don't. All right, so back to the reason why I've really felt so passionate about starting this podcast. So as I went through the refiner, I feel like I've truly this summer found so much freedom in who I am and who I am in Christ, and the fact that I'm a child of God, and that is it. Like, true freedom is literally not holding your value in anybody else, any other thing. No likes, no attention, no friendships, relationships. There's nothing that defines me except for God's love for me. That is it. The fact that I am a child of God is it. That's the only thing that defines me. That's the only truth that I care about. And there's nothing I can do in this world to separate me from the love of God. There's nothing. I feel like right now I'm able to talk about it so lightly because I have seen the other side, but I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow and feel set free. The truth is, it has taken probably a year to truly find who I am in Christ. But once I found my identity in him and in nothing else, that is the complete game changer. I started this semester, I was journaling, and I was like, I really feel like I went through the refiner this year, and I feel like God has just made me so confident in him that I'm going to be less worrying about school itself, but I feel like I'm just going to be a light on this campus. And I'm like, God, use me however you want to use me today. Like, literally use me. Like, every day I wake up, I'm like, God, like who do you want me to talk to? Where do you want me to go? Literally, like, set me in a place with anybody. Like, show me who you want me to talk to, and I'll talk to them, and I'll share that with them the same truths that I've learned about the goodness of who you are. And so that was the biggest inspiration. And I'm not kidding you guys. As soon as this semester has started, I have names upon names upon names of people I just keep meeting, and I'm writing people's names on my prayer wall, and I'm just like praying for these people that were once strangers. And I'm just like, before I know it, I'm like, okay, wow, like, this is actually crazy. Like, how is God using me, a mere human, to now be establishing all these like friendships with all these amazing people of all different backgrounds and just completely different lives and stories? I'm like, God is truly using me, and it's literally unbelievable. And it was October 7th. I woke up that day and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? I need to share this somehow. I need to just document what God is doing and the kind of relationships that are being established right now. So I was like, all right, I'm going to make a YouTube channel sharing all these stories and relationships being built. And I know what it's going to be called. It's going to be called the How We Met podcast, because every story is going to be, or every video is going to start off with the story of how we met, because I cannot wait. I'm already getting so excited. I have so many people coming on this show that it's like literally like, how did we meet? Like, it's just so crazy. Like, I've met people in the library. I've recognized this girl I went to kindergarten with in 5th grade. I was just walking down the street and I told someone good morning, and now here we are as friends. Like, it's just literally, I'm like, what? Like, this is just so cool. Oh my gosh, I'm literally just freaking out because I'm like, this is just so cool. Like, it's all God. Like, it's literally not me. It's just like the gift of God. It's just the grace of God that like he like is using me. I'm like, God, like, use me however you want to use me. And God's like, okay, sure, I will. The second you allow yourself to surrender to the Lord's plans for you, which are actually the best plans for your life, like, he will use you in beautiful, beautiful ways. And so this is literally the base of how it all started is just from me wanting to glorify our great God and just kind of share the stories of people I'm meeting. But by the time the day ended, I was like, no, it's going to be a podcast. It's going to be a podcast. And I actually thought it was going to be called the How We Met podcast. But then I didn't want to only have stories of people of how we met. I wanted to have the freedom to be able to talk, answering questions and sharing stories and experiences that you guys want to hear about that I personally can just speak on or have stories with my family. So then I was like, all right, maybe I won't do the How We Met. And then a day or two went by and I was like, it's going to be called the best day ever, because literally this is how I'm living my life. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like, thank you for this day you have made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. So that really just kicked it off. It was honestly, it was just super easy. I was like, okay, the best day ever. And then that led to my little motto. Say it with me now. Today's the best day ever because it's the only day you've got. Yesterday's gone and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So today's literally the best day because it's the only day we've got. Like, ain't that the truth, everybody? I hope that when you hear this, you're not just like, okay, yeah, like, how is today the best day? Like, isn't the best day, like, finding out you're going to, like, Disney World or, like, the day you win, like, your sport championships? Like, guys, today, the only day we've got, now that is the best day ever. Truly, like, when you wake up and you just take that first breath. Guys, we're alive. We're breathing. We have air in our lungs. Like, we have life today. There's still a reason that you're here. There's still a purpose for you. And I'm going to be completely honest. It was not until I came to know Jesus that I found true meaning and purpose over my life. And I just want to be so upfront. I am never, ever going to try and force any of my own beliefs upon anybody. But I just can't contain this kind of joy that I've found. So when I'm just speaking about my relationship with Jesus, that is just truly coming out of a place of how he has impacted me in my life. I would love to engage in deeper conversation about my walk with Jesus, and I will definitely be having future podcasts about my story and my testimony. If you knew me back in high school, senior year, I interviewed at least half of my senior class, or even 3/4 of it. And it was solely based on the fact that I just love people. And it was almost like a little time capsule because I know one day we're going to get older, God willing, and we're going to want to be able to share these things with the little grandkids. And I'm not even kidding. Like, this is the way I think. Like, I am just already nostalgic about the things that haven't even happened yet. It's like, I haven't even graduated college yet, and I'm already ready to whip out my old scrapbook for the kids, for my grandkids. It's like, okay, hold up, girl. But no, like, life is just so beautiful, and it's so fleeting, and it's so precious, and it goes by so fast. So I'm like, let's just really make the most of every single moment. Like, life is just so good. And don't think that I haven't gone through pain, because trust me, I have gone through my fair share of hard times, and I still do. But there is still just so much meaning in life to be had. And if there's not anybody that has told you that they're proud of you, I want to tell you right now that I am proud of you. I want you to know that I recognize how far you have come, all the things you've had to overcome in this life so far. You did it and you made it and you're here right now. And I am just so proud of you. And I'm just so grateful that you're here being able to listen into this message. And there are so many people who love you and look up to you and respect and admire you. And this world needs you. And there are people who are going to be changed by your story one day. I'm just going to sit here right now and tell you that you matter. And you have a purpose. And your life has meaning. These statements aren't true because I'm sitting here saying this right now. But these are words of truth. And they are a fact. Your life matters. And there's a plan written over your life. And when I heard these same words spoken to me, my life was completely transformed. I swear, like, my eyes opened and I just received this message. And when I heard the words that I don't have to do this life on my own, that actually God has a plan for me, that there's actually a purpose over my life, and that my life can have meaning, I was like, okay, yes, sign me up, Lord. Like, okay. Thank you. And that's exactly what I did. And take a look at Genesis. In the beginning of Genesis, God literally tells us that we were made in his image. Like, do you know how beautiful that is? That God intended you before the creation of time, before your parents even knew you. God knew you, and he knew that you were going to be here right now in this time, whatever age you're at, on December 1st, 2021, he knew you'd be sitting here right now, and he's like, my child, like, I created you, just come to know me. And so for me, the second I just actually found an established relationship with Jesus, it just completely changed my life, and it's literally the only reason I'm sitting here right now doing this. Like, this is not out of my own doing. Like, yes, I did take the steps, and I am so proud of myself because this is literally the first time I think I ever was like, I'm going to do this, and I actually did it. If you ever get the opportunity to look at my YouTube channel, you can find it at Olivia Madeline. I thought I was going to do a 365-day vlog, and that lasted for like 7 vlogs. So I'm still working on that. But, give me grace. I'm praying that the Lord would provide a way to allow me the time and ability to continue on making videos, because I really do love capturing life in videos. But for now, this is my focus. This podcast is literally going to be the light of my life, and I am so excited to just share the stories and the lives of people I've been meeting. So, yes, the Bible tells us that us mere humans, we're created in the image of God. So that means by knowing you and by knowing, all these strangers I've had the opportunity to meet, by knowing them, I actually get to learn more about this awesome God too, because everything about you is unique to you. The color of your eyes, the songs that you love to sing, your height, your passions, your color hair, the way you smile, like, those are all things that nobody else has. Like, you are literally so special, and there is nobody like you. Like, you are literally a miracle. Like, the fact that you are here right now is literally a miracle, and I'm never gonna stop speaking this truth over life. Okay, so going along with the fact that we are all living our own stories, we're all living our own reality. I have like a quick little image for you guys. So, image, I don't know if that was a good word choice. I have a good imagery. That was better. That little game we would play as kids? It's like those little beads, and you can kind of drag that. It's like a little like wooden bead. You drag along this wire, and sometimes the shape is like in a big rainbow, or sometimes the shape is in like a spiral, or somehow like the shape's like intercross. This is such a bad explanation. If anybody knows what this game is called, please tell me, because I don't know how to describe it, but maybe how I explain it, you'll actually get the picture. All right, so maybe just erase that. Picture this. We are all these little beads going through life. Every single person is on this bead, okay? We're all on this bead of life, and some people's beads are going up high and then they fall back down, or some people's beads are on like a complete spiral. Some people's beads are doing like zigzag, and then all of a sudden they just go straight down. But the point of it is, everybody's got their own little journey. And what is more specific to note is that everybody's journey has a beginning and an end. The date that we were born is established, and the date that it ends is already established as well. And we're all just these little beads going through life. We have no clue what's going to happen because we weren't meant to know what's going to happen next in life. But either way, we're going through life. And somehow, in a moment in time, you and we cross paths. And now, I become a face in your story, and you become a face in my story. And in that moment, we can choose to just keep on walking, or we can pause and recognize that there's another human being standing before me with a whole story and a whole life and a whole basically journey that has led them right now to this specific moment in time. Like I said at the beginning, look at that room around you. Look at that space full of people. Everybody has their own story. Everybody's living their own reality. But somehow in this specific moment in time, two people get to be in one place at one time. And now that creates a story of how we met. And I think I'm just going to wrap it all up here by just sharing that everybody I have on this podcast is literally out of the gift of God for me to be able to meet these people in the moment that I did, and for all the stories to come, and for all the people that I've met thus far. I just cannot wait for you guys to get to meet everyone. I have literally had such an honor of meeting so many wonderful people already, and I just heard so many encouraging stories. And guys, like, I cannot tell you enough. Life is just so beautiful, and I hope I get to meet you. I'm gonna be praying that I get to meet you, and I just want to lift up you right now and your life and your current situation, everything you're going through, and whatever you're struggling with right now, or maybe the things you're just excited for. I just pray that you would just feel some kind of light and love and peace, and that you know that you will get through this by the grace of God. I just pray that the Lord would just be in the midst of the situation with you right now, that you would see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that whatever you're going through, yes, it might not technically be what you would ever call the best day ever, but you know what? You are here and you're doing it, and you have air in your lungs, and you've got life, and you have a meaning. And don't ever lose sight on the fact that you are loved and you're chosen, and you are so special. And it's not because I'm sitting here saying it, but because it's literally a fact. Like, it's literally the truth that you are so special, and there's actually not one person on this entire planet that is like you. So it is now 12 o'clock at night, and I probably should wrap this up. Guys, I love you so much, and I am just so grateful for how much you all have just supported me already. Like, this love is honestly contagious. I am so full of joy. I am honored that I get to be in a position to just be able to share the things that I've learned in my stories, and I get to share with conversations and little interviews the lives of others and what makes them who they are. And I think we all have something that we could learn about from one another, and that is just what makes life so cool, is that we can never stop learning, and we can never stop experiencing life. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. What life are you gonna live? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of the Best Day Ever podcast. I know that there might have been a lot of topics that I didn't get to dive super deep into. So if there's anything specific that you'd really like to hear more about, please send us a message at the Best Day Ever podcast account on Instagram. You can feel free to message us suggesting any future topics or questions you have, anything you'd like to know more of about my story. And I cannot wait to see you guys next week. Stay tuned for our next guest. And don't forget, today's the best day ever. You are loved, you are chosen, and we're all in this together. We truly are. That's all I got to say for now. All right. Well, have a great day, you guys. Bye.